Um, Other bits of news. This is also speculative and rumor. Uh, they're claiming to reveal new details on the upcoming iPhone 6. Uh, Reports, of course, is going to have a bigger display. They may call it the iPad or the iPhone Air, and like just like the iPad Air. And oh, let me take a look here. Someone said they can't see anything here. Let me check something real quick. Okay, I am able to see anybody who is saying they can't see anything. I am able to see the screen because I am connected as a participant as well. So I'm not sure. I won't be able to do too much tech support to help you. So if you aren't able to see something, maybe you need to exit the program and rejoin. I'm going to go ahead and continue on. This iPhone 6 looks like it's going to be launched probably towards the end of this year, which is probably a good thing because a lot of us have already spent the money on an iPhone 5. I would think it's going to be a great thing for the future. So it will definitely be an interesting thing. I wanted to also cover three things that I noticed that I was that seemed interesting at CES. If anybody's not familiar with CES, that's the Consumer Electronics Show that's actually going on this week. Of course, Apple's not there anymore, or they haven't been there in quite a while. But there's some interesting types of devices that are out there that would be, usable with your iPhone or your iPad. I found this one to be intriguing because there are some of us that still have cassette decks that are uh, in their cars. I do, and it looks like this is actually a Bluetooth cassette adapter instead of having that wire hanging out uh, from the side of the cassette. Uh, it's definitely it can be an interesting thing here. They haven't said how much the price is going to be on it yet, but it will be Bluetooth, so you'll actually be able to put this cassette into your cassette player, and just like you do with the ones now with the wires on it, and be able to send the signal through Bluetooth. Now, with everybody having Bluetooth earpieces and everything else in Bluetooth, I can imagine that this sound would be pretty good. Ion's a pretty good manufacturer because they also have made those turntables that you can hook up to your computer to convert music from vinyl as well as cassette decks. Actual home theater stereos cassette decks that you can hook up as well. So they've made some pretty decent stuff. Um, and the other thing I have here I wanted to talk about was LaCie. LaCie is a French manufacturer, hardware maker, been around for a long time. They're very Mac centric, Apple centric. They came out with a Apple focused lineup with Wi-Fi and Thunderbolt. The Wi-Fi one is the one that I think is very intriguing, and the one unique thing is with this LaCie device is it actually will allow you to access this drive and be able to uh, put all your media, like your photos and your documents, onto this drive and be able to access it over the Wi-Fi, as opposed to taking up all the space on your iPad or iPhone's drive, which I think is kind of a neat device here. And it's pretty slick and allowing you to be able to actually do that. And these devices have been around for a while, and there hasn't been a lot of difference. But uh, having the actual device be able to store this stuff for you and be 1 terabyte is pretty impressive. And lastly, I wanted to talk about with some announcements at CES is the glass that's on our devices now. Of course, Corning is the big manufacturer of all of these glass, what's called Gorilla Glass, and what they're looking is they're looking to make it more antimicrobial, biotical, uh, so it's resistant to germs, which is kind of a neat thing there because I know a lot of folks worry that all these people touching their actual screen sometimes could be have a problem here. So I find it to uh, pretty interesting to see that you can be able to get this type of glass. And then that was actually one of the things in the news. I was going to go through some maintenance here. One of the things I'll tell you on your list here, your screen, if you what you want to do is if you want to change your screen, make my picture smaller, you have to adjust the bar yourself. There is a zoom button at the very top. You actually can zoom in and out if you want to see something. So I'm just answering some of the questions of the folks if they're questioning how to adjust that. So I just wanted to let you know that. Okay. Um, what I wanted to do is I wanted to throw in one tip here today, and then I wanted to talk about, and I got a question about this today, and I wanted to actually talk about it, is your photos. Deleting your photos and running out of space and backing up your photos. Is one of the tips I wanted to kind of give and see if it be a type of thing that some of you encounter all the time. What this is a let me bring up my iPad here and I'll show you what I'm talking about here. Give me 1 second. Let me turn this back on. Let me turn around here and make sure you see it on the screen. I see it on my screen, so you guys should be able to see it as well. What I was talking about is in photos. If you go into your photos here, you notice and this applies to both the iPhone and the iPad. What you usually have is you have your standard uh, albums here, and that's where all the photos reside. Um, I had a question where they're worried that they were going to be they want to get all the photos up as they can't do their upgrades, and that's the biggest. I think that's one of the biggest problems is being able to do an upgrade is going to stop you, especially if you have a device that doesn't have a lot of space. The first thing you want to check here is going into settings here, and you go under where is this here? Let me check this real quick. Under settings and then under usage. And what it's going to do is, if you see here at the very top, it's the bar spinning here, so it'll actually it's going to actually measure what is taking up all the space. We'll wait here a second. As you notice, this is my my iPad says I have 20.9 gigabytes used, and I still have about 6.4 gigabytes left. What it's going to do is it's going to measure everything that's taking up space on your device. Hopefully this won't take too long here. Let me also bring up the iPhone. All right. A lag there. So you should be able to see my iPhone as well. Looks like the iPad is still checking to see how much space is left. Let's check this on the iPhone. There it is. The iPhone was quicker here. So here it is. It actually tells you what items are taking up a lot of space here. This drop to roll app is actually an app that I use for transferring photos. But the biggest thing is going to be the photos and where that takes up a lot of space. The place to actually check where your photos are being, where it's taking up the most space is if you go under usage and then go under manage storage under iCloud. The iCloud will actually tell you what's taking up a lot of the space, and I can guarantee you most of the time. So if I pick up my iPhone here, it'll show right here the backup options. If you notice there, I have my camera roll is taking up 4.4 gigabytes. That's the place you want to go as well, is to actually see where it's actually telling you where the culprit is as far as space goes, because you do have to remove whatever you can from the device, especially if you haven't updated to iOS 7 yet. I hope most of you have updated to iOS 7, and this is one of the methods of doing that, and it's a good idea to check that from time to time. You'll know because it'll actually give you a warning when it's not available. Okay, that was one tip I wanted to throw in here. The rest of the time tonight, what I was going to do is my main discussion was actually I was going to focus on it, and I found to be an interesting topic, is talking about television apps, TV networks, being able to watch video, being able to watch all kinds of content that's out there. Over the last year since I've been doing this, SIG, I've actually seen a dramatic change in how the way we are able to consume movies, sports, TV shows, videos, all kinds of stuff. And I wanted to kind of go over that. And that's one of the topics I'm going to talk about tonight. That'll be the first part of the discussion. And then the second part is going to be some of the top apps I felt that there were out there for 2013. And then I'm going to open up. We're going to do some questions and answers, and we'll see how this works as far as any audio discussion as well as questions that have been typed in. Got a few in here now. And like I said, I'll answer those at the end. I have a poll I wanted to throw out there because I did not throw that out there. I was going to kind of wait to see as people came out there. And I'm going to pop this up here. My first question is going to be: please let me know if you are a member of the group or if you're a guest. This poll is going to pop up, and go ahead and choose one of the answers here. That should pop up here in a second. Here we go. Please choose the following, and I'm going to. All right. So far, everybody's a member. And we'll go a few more seconds. All right. So it looks like we have a small group of guests here. I'm going to go ahead and close that poll out, and I'll show you the results here. Yeah, we have 92% of our members are here tonight, and we have 8% of our guests. For those of you who are guests, I don't know if you know who I am. I just make sure you already should know who I am. I'm Dave Ginsburg, of course, the president of the Northwest of Us. And I highly recommend you going out to our website to find out more about our group at nwou.org. And I don't want to spend too much time on that, but I want to make sure that you're aware of the group. And if you have any questions, obviously, you should put those questions into the questions box, and I will definitely answer them at the end of the session tonight. All right. So I'm sure many of you probably use a lot of these TV apps, and the one biggest thing with these TV apps is the fact that you have to have a subscription to, whether it be a content provider such as Xfinity, Comcast, or AT&T, or Huawei Cable, and a lot of these types of services have to be authenticated to a lot of these apps that are out there for the TV networks. I'm going to focus generally on the iPad because the majority of these apps are on the iPad because they want you to get the biggest full screen experience there is when it comes to these types of apps. So what I've done is I've actually broken them down in the primary networks as well as some of the cable networks. So I'm gonna turn off my iPhone here so you aren't confused seeing both of these. Maybe give me a minute here. All right. I'm just going to check our screen, make sure everybody's able to see my iPad okay. All right, what I've done is I've downloaded a bunch of the TV apps, and a lot of these TV network apps are free. The only thing is you do have to authenticate them against your cable or satellite provider. So if you have a satellite or cable, most of these providers are available for a lot of these networks. The first one I wanted to show, and I'm sure people probably have seen it already, is from ABC. I think ABC has done probably the best out of all of the networks out there as far as what you can do with the app. And as you see, what you can do is you actually can watch your local channel live. And for those of you that are here in Chicago, obviously Channel 7 will be our local channel here in on this network. If you see here at the very bottom, it says ABC Live. If I tap that, it's going to allow us to go out to the internet and be able to watch what's actually being shown live right now on ABC television. So as you see, we actually can watch what's on right now. So right now they're showing Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So that's a live video available on these apps. And if you notice it here at the very bottom, it's actually showing Xfinity. That means I've already authenticated to my Xfinity account because I'm a cable subscriber. Now the other thing you could do is actually go in and not navigate the schedule. It brings up what shows are going to be coming on ABC. Here's all the shows. And if they have them actually available for on demand, you can actually watch these videos at any time. So one show I was kind of getting to on ABC was Shark Tank. If you pick one of the shows, right now it has the season 5 going on, and you want to be able to view all the episodes. It looks like the thing is they don't have every episode on here, so you'll be limited. It's going to depend on the actual show. So if you actually tap the video, you'll actually be able to watch it. Now, the one downfall to a lot of these apps is the fact that you do have to watch the commercials, which kind of stinks because a lot of folks like to fast forward through using their DVR, but unfortunately, like right now, we have to watch these ads. So that's the one disadvantage of using these apps. But you know what? I'll take that over not having to have any TV at all, because now you could take your iPad anywhere you go travel-wise, authenticated against your account, be able to watch your local television shows right from your iPad. So the ABC app has quite a bit of great stuff on here, and it looks like a lot of the other networks have followed suit. Here's CBS. So you'll be able to watch CBS's actual shows. You can actually turn this on if you wanted to actually tell them notify you what's coming up. So it looks like right now they're showing Two Broke Girls is one of the shows that's on. You can connect live here as well, as CBS just added this. Um, it'll either replay the event or actually, I don't know if you can do live. I have not. Let's see. No, CBS has not added that yet. I'll say that. So, but you can watch any other live events that were on here and be able to look at a lot of the shows. And here's all the shows. You have access to all the shows that are on CBS right now. Let's say if you want to watch the crazy ones, the fun Robin Williams show. It has the last couple episodes, and you just tap in and watch it. And same thing. I've already authenticated this, so it authenticated back against my my accounts to be able to watch it on here. NBC, they've done the same thing. They've and of course this app is not AirPlay supported, so I can't show it to you. so they've gotten a little rough on the edges. Some of these apps won't allow for AirPlay. What AirPlay is, AirPlay will allow you to be able to set the content over to your, let's say, your Apple TV, or like what I'm doing on my screen here to show it to you. So that NBC looks like they've resisted doing that as of yet. Now PBS is a great app. I'm actually very impressed with what PBS has added. And you notice for us in Chicago, it's got Channel 11 is the local channel here, so we can go through and actually tap watch these shows. If you remember, for those of you who attended the SIG last month, I did demonstrations on the Apple TV. Well, this is the same kind of concept, but it's on the iPad. You'll be able to watch the PBS app right from here. So again, you're seeing be able to watch these great shows, and it's an absolute great it's an actual great app. All right, let's check through a few others here. Fox, they also have an app that they've put out there for a lot of their shows, and again, you can watch a lot of their shows, and they're right there to watch them right there. As you've noticed, the only network that has live TV right now is ABC. So that's kind of unique, and you're going to kind of see a trend. A lot of these apps being able to actually watch these actual shows live. So they've changed that. And of course, that's just not. I just narrowed it down just to the local networks. So not local, but the national networks, but are local channels. If you also go into the other networks here, I have 4 pages of just all the rest of these actual networks as well. One of them that's great is if you have a subscription to either HBO or Showtime, you go into HBO Go. HBO Go, again, this is also available on the Apple TV, like I did show you last month of those of you who were at the meeting. And these also give you an actual tap to be able to get through and watch any of these movies. So let's say you wanted to watch this movie Admission. It'll actually have a preview you can add to the watch list. You do have to make sure you authenticate to your account, because it is important that you have that on there, and gives you the options to be able to watch that. I had a question here as far as, could you show us how to get the TV apps? So how do you get the TV apps? You go to the App Store and download them. You basically go to the App Store and search for any one of these apps, and they will come up for you. So that's pretty much what I could tell you as far as how to get these apps. As you see, there's other networks, TBS, True TV. NBC also has an app for their live sports. So if there's any live sports going on now, so it looks like this is actual live hockey network here. So I'm going to kind of show you what you have to do in order to authenticate to one of these apps. In this case, this is the NBC app. As you see here, these are the providers that are available for access to this. So it looks like folks who have WOW locally here in Chicago, and folks who have Xfinity, which what I have, are available on this app, as well as DirecTV, Dish, AT&T Uverse, Verizon, Fios, Cox is available off of this, Charter. So it looks like NBC was smart, and they added a lot of content providers. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick Xfinity, and unfortunately, with each one of these apps, you're going to have to go through and do an authentication. So that's why I wanted to show this to you. See if it'll let me do it. You got to type in your email. In this case, I'm a Comcast subscriber, so I'm going to put in my account information. Give me 1 second here. And put in my password. And if you can see that, you're good. And we sign in. And what it'll do is authenticate the app. And now what I'll be able to do is this is a hockey game, the Flyers versus the Devils, and we'll be able to watch it. And this is live. And this is a lot of where you're seeing a lot of this content is going, is you're actually going through and being able to watch a lot of these live events. As you see now, if you scroll up here, there's a lot of events coming up, or they also have live events from other channels, like the Golf Channel, Dan Patrick Show. Those two right now is the Golf Channel you can watch live. If you wanted to go watch the Golf Channel, we could tap that and be able to watch anything that's on the Golf Channel. And of course, a lot of times if there's any commercials that are being shown on the network, it's going to have this return to programming momentarily. But of course, you are going to see ads. You will have to deal with that. So this is a pretty powerful app. Also a History Channel. If you're into the History Channel, a lot of great content on there. They have a lot of great information on here and a lot of great shows. My favorite show there is Counting Cars. I love that show. American Pickers, Pawn Stars. You can watch any of these shows, and you sign into the account. Same thing. Be able to watch these without any problems. Let's see. I'm going to check a couple of these questions that relate to what I'm talking about here. Someone just asked, how do I authenticate my cable provider to watch TV live on my iPad? Again, I just showed that to you. What you do is you have to go to each app and see if they are participating with your provider. Not all providers have joined up with a lot of these apps, so you might have a problem being able to watch some of these. There are even a few on here that hasn't joined up with Comcast Xfinity, which is surprising. So that's how you do that. Do I have to authenticate an app every time I open it, or does the app remember that you have done so? It will remember it once, as long as you click Save This Sign In. It should be no problem. You won't have to sign in again. And we got NBC will be great for the Olympics. I agree. Mary Beth said that. Yes, I agree. And I think probably there's going to be an Olympics app because they did have one for the Summer Games. I would not be at all surprised if they have a specific app for the Olympics and you'd be able to watch all the events at any time. There's going to be always things going on there. So going through a lot of the rest of this list, you'll see another great app is for sports is the ESPN Watch ESPN app. This one has all the channels on ESPN. You can watch anything and everything. Again, here's where you have to choose your provider. I'm not going to go through all these. So these are the providers that are available for ESPN. Excuse me. If you notice, WOW Cable is not listed on this. For those of you who subscribe to WOW, ESPN is not currently participating with them. So unfortunately, you would not be able to use that if you subscribe to WOW. But all the big players like Comcast and AT&T, Cox, Time Warner, Verizon. I think majority of Chicago area is Comcast. And AT&T are those two for the Chicago area. But in this case, you will be able to watch. I think I will be able to because it is Comcast. Now, one of the big things, if you do have Comcast, is there is a app called the TV Go app, and we'll see if this will actually play. 1 second here. Bring my computer back up. Bear with me. If you notice here, this is the Xfinity On Demand app. If you're an Xfinity subscriber, you are able to watch any of these channels within this app. So you don't have to go to all those apps I just showed you. So all of these networks are available through this app without having to go to each one of these networks to be able to view them. Most of them are going to be on demand stuff, so it won't be channels that's going to show anything live. CNN probably will be live, but see the problem. This app may not stream, and again, this is the same thing. I'm not able to stream this because they don't do that. but I think the CNN app will stream, which we'll check in just a second. But I'm watching CNN. You weren't able to see it, but I am watching CNN live right now, and they're talking. They have something on there. So I come back, and then it'll have all the channels back here again. Let me go back to a couple questions here I see that just have popped through. How do you set to sync iPad apps with computers so that the iPad doesn't ask to change the computer? I'm not sure what you're asking, Judy. I'll probably have you verbally talk to me about that in a minute. Let's say Jim had the question on the Xfinity Have TV Go. How does that compare with the individual channel apps that you're showing? Well, I guess I just brought that up, Jim. As I said, some of the apps will work better than others. As you've seen in some of the ones that I've shown you, they do have a pretty good interface. Like here's CNN on its own. Let's see if this will actually go through AirPlay, and I could show it to you. CNN's going to have its own content. As you see here, CNN didn't have this when I was in the Xfinity app. So that's going to give you the advantage as far as being able to view a lot of other content. So if I want to be able to watch this live, I tap the CNN button here. And let's see, go to TV, watch CNN, and I can unlock and watch. And they have quite a few providers here, as you see. Probably more than I've never even heard of. So if I go to Xfinity, let's authenticate this one because I want to see if it'll actually AirPlay. Bear with me here. All right. Whoops. Let's try that again. So what this will do is this will authenticate the app and it will store it, so you won't have to do it all the time. There's a possibility that it might stop off and then you have to do this again, but in most cases it should store it once you do it once. I did that again. Try one more time here. That's the hard thing too. Is this zooms. That's a concept. We can actually zoom it so I don't tap the wrong thing here. All right, bear with me a minute. And I check off keep me signed in, and I click sign in. So once it authenticates, the box should disappear and then start playing the content. And I didn't like my password. Try one more time here. Almost there. Should work. Oh, anyway, we'll come back to this. But you get the point. Let me spend time on this. So this does have a very good interface. 60 Minutes. There's a 60 Minutes app. You actually can watch the 60 Minutes. Uh, you can actually watch a lot of the stories that they've been showing on 60 Minutes. And I believe this app is not free. I believe it did cost, unless they've changed it since I've checked last. But there's 60 Minutes. And you'll be able to watch it, and be able to stream it, be able to deal with it, and watch it. So 60 Minutes is a very good app. As you see, there's other choices out there. The Food Network has an app, and it singles the things out, so you can have fun with that. I don't know if this one actually shows things live. It might. My favorite show, we always like to watch Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. You do have to sign in because you see those padlocks and be able to sign in to be able to authenticate that one. Smithsonian has an app, the Lifetime Network. Some of you ladies out there would like to watch the Lifetime Network. They do have a great app. Be able to watch any of these shows. If you notice that box is popping out, it probably should let you see that. If you have other devices, especially if there's an iPhone version of this app, and many of these apps there are iPhone versions of it, it does give you the opportunity to be able to sync what you've watched to the other device, so then it remembers where you left off. So that was what that was for. Travel Channel has an app, so it's endless. I mean, there's Showtime. There's so many others. Um, in fact, a few others I didn't even put into my group: Animal Planet, Discovery. So the choices are endless, and I think it's just a great thing that what they've done, and it's good. It's just going to get better as far as having this type of content available, and people are actually loving this. Okay. Judy just asked me about Sunday morning. I believe that is in the CBS app. Let's take a look here. Let's see. Or it's in CBS News. Let's take a look here. Let's check that for you, Judy. There's CBS News. I believe they do have Sunday morning in this app. Of course, you have to have this big goofy ad here. Here's shows. Yep, there's CBS Evening News. This morning, 60 minutes. Yep, there it is. Sunday morning. So that's the CBS News app. That's a separate app from the other CBS app. So that should answer your question there, Judy. I'll take a drink here. Okay. And as I said too, there are lots of news apps out there. CNBC was the one I didn't talk about here. Let me show you that one here real quick. Oh, where did we go? There we go. There we go. CBS. Oh, CNBC. So for those of you who like to follow a lot of business, um, there's some great um, stuff here, and on CNBC it does allow you to watch it live just by tapping. This I did sign on, I guess it didn't. So you get the point. I need to go through that again to bore you with that kind of stuff. So that's available as well. So as you can see, the networks are endless. You can easily have fun enjoying a lot of these different apps and go through a lot of this. Um, let's take a look here before I move on to see if there's any other questions I didn't answer for you. Let's see. All right, looks like our questions are answered here. Um, like I said, if you want, don't be bashful. If you want to be able to actually ask me an audio question, raise your hand, and I will more than happy to open up your mic, and you can ask a question. Let everybody hear what you have to say. So, if you have any questions as I go on here, please not only you don't have to type in there, you can actually raise your hand, and I will let you ask a question. Did someone raise their hand? Let's see. Dorothy, I'm going to let you ask your question. I just saw you typed it. So let me unmute you here. All right, Dorothy, you're unmuted. Go ahead and ask your question.
Okay, yeah. I know that there's a way to stream movies and other shows on the TV
Right.
from the phone or the app or the iPad. How do you do that?
Well, you kind of do it the way I'm doing it now, but the only difference is on your TV, you're going to have to own an Apple TV. Do you guys have an Apple TV?
Not yet.
Yeah, it's probably one of the cheapest investments and most worthwhile investments. I wish you guys would have been to the meeting last month. Um, I highly recommend purchasing an Apple TV, and you'll be able to do what I'm doing right now on the screen. I'm kind of stimulating what an Apple TV can do because I can take my iPad and actually show it on my TV screen using my Apple TV. Um, a lot of these apps I just went over are available as apps on the Apple TV, so you wouldn't even have to do that. Uh, they're growing exponentially like crazy, so you could do that as well. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thanks.
All right, great. See, she asked a nice question there. Now, anybody else has a question? Feel free to raise your hand, and I will unmute you and let you speak up. All right. Let me switch over to the iPhone here. We've been talking about this iPad for all this time. Bear with me. Should pop up. Let's take the iPad off so we don't get confused. Make sure everybody can see it. All right, looks good. All right. So there was a lot of apps out there this past year that were really really great, um, and uh, I'm going to kind of go over some of the apps that are out there that it looks like all those apps I downloaded on my iPad are on my iPhone. I didn't realize it. There's all the TV apps I had just downloaded on my iPad, and that's actually a feature. I don't know if anybody's familiar with that. Is you can set your devices to sync between them. So if you download one app on your iPad, it'll also download on your iPhone, and vice versa. Assuming that these apps are universal. If they're only iPhone only or iPad only, then they won't sync. So you see, each one of these apps has synced onto my iPhone. So one of the apps I wanted to talk about is actually a lot of the Yahoo apps. Yahoo's done a tremendous job of doing a lot of updates on their apps. This one here, here's the finance one, and very very beautiful layout. They've really done an amazing job as far as of making it fresh and viewable. Um, that looks like Microsoft's not taking the Ford CEO, so there's going to be a different CEO at Microsoft there. So as you see, it's got a lot of great information as far as news. And the reason why it has a lot of news that you saw Ford there in Microsoft is because I've got it showing that those are the stocks that I'm following. So there's Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, Facebook. So any of the news, it'll just scroll right through and it's right there. And this is absolutely free. So this is a great um, this is a great app that allows you to be able to scroll through this without a problem. Um, Yahoo also added a app called Screen. This is a whole new thing here. They're trying to be like a content provider here. So as you see, if I brought up this screen, I'm actually able to watch some of these videos that they have. And what it does is you won't be able to see it because it's airplaying it onto my iPad, my Mac. So that's what you see. But it does play the actual videos, and it's like a video content provider. Very very cool app out there, and their weather. Let me see what I did with the weather here. That's one I really like, and of course we all want to know how cold it is right now because it's been extremely cold here. It's a whopping 1 degree. Wow, we're having a heat wave here. Looks like it's going down tonight. And as you see how you can scroll up, it's a very very nice interface. So it looks like tonight we're going down to -5, and then we're going to go down. We'll go up to 12 tomorrow. We're finally going to warm up towards the end of the week here, which is great. So you see, it's nice, clean layout. You just scroll through it like how crystal clear this is, and it's got the map for all of our area here to shows that. It gives you what the precipitation is. I mean, it's just a very very well laid out app, and it does allow you to add other locations. So like here's New York. So New York's going to start getting a lot of our cold soon in the East Coast. So it's just a great app. And you see here too, it actually gives you accessibility to all the other apps. Like here's the actual Yahoo app. Um, this brings you out, and then this is all the Yahoo news links. So it's a great app too. So I highly recommend jumping on a lot of these Yahoo apps. There's some great ones out there, and you can have a lot of fun with them. All right, let's go back and see what kind of questions we've got here. Let's see a few new ones here. Oh, I got someone who raised their hand. Let's go to that one first here. Let's see who it is. Okay, Beverly, I'm going to unmute your mic and let you ask your question. All right, Beverly, go ahead and ask your question.
Where did you find the NBC, CNN, CBS app? Because they aren't on the TV network app page in iTunes.
Okay, let's take a look here. We'll go into the App Store, and let's search for it. So you looked for what was it? CNN?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, here's CNN. See how I typed it? There is a CNN app for the iPhone as well, so you should be able to find it. What was the other one you couldn't find? CBS.
iPad. I couldn't find NBC or CBS.
Yeah,
I
here's
just got TV networks and then I looked at all the apps on the TV networks page, but those stations aren't listed.
yep
They're
here's
apps.
here's CBS. I just searched for CBS, so they're there.
Oh, but you're not on the okay. The TV network page is what I looked at, but you have to go to CNN or
Well,
CBS.
what I did was I went into the App Store and I searched CBS.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. All right. Did anybody else raise their hand? Come on, don't be bashful. Oh, we did. Okay. All right, Judy, I'm gonna give you the stage. Go ahead and ask your questions.
Okay. You were talking about syncing before, and I
Mm-hmm.
had asked a question about plugging my iPad into my computer to sync,
Mm-hmm.
and my iPad asked to change contacts on my computer. And I want my computer to be the dominant, and I don't want to change my computer, and I would rather have my computer sync with my iPad. Does that
So,
make sense?
so what do you have your iPad hooked up directly to your computer?
Yeah, it just to sync it.
Um, yeah, that can get really messy. So I wouldn't recommend doing that if you can avoid it at all possible, because the way iCloud works is it'll sync your contacts and you don't ever have to hook it up to your computer because it causes more harm.
Okay.
So what I would recommend, and I think we've talked about this before, that you should go and uh, and sync everything through the cloud. So all your contacts are synced that way.
Yeah, it gets very messy.
It sure does.
Right. And I have another question.
Sure, go ahead.
Um, I have a TV that has apps. What's the advantage of getting, say, a Roku or an Apple TV? With it has all the same apps.
Well, that's right. You did miss the Apple TV one last month. I'm sorry. Um, well, the way what Apple's doing is they're just trying to make it easier to when you're using the Apple TVs. So those apps that are out there, they're going to be able to allow you to like ABC and a lot of those other apps are actually on the Apple TV. So you don't have to use your iOS device to access them. But that doesn't necessarily mean anything that's on your iOS device. You still can't mirror and stream using AirPlay. So in my opinion, if you already have an iPhone and iPad, it's a no-brainer. I would get an Apple TV.
Thank you.
You are welcome. All right, looks like Marcia has a question. I'm going to open up her mic here. All right, Marcia, you have the floor.
Okay. With the um, with the Yahoo apps, are they trying to provide like similar things that Google does? Like one time you showed us how you could use all the different Google apps. Are they trying to mirror Google in their
Yeah,
features and
they're. I think in essence, Yahoo is trying to compete, 100% with Google. But I think what they're trying to do is become more of a content provider. They're trying to be more than what they were before. With the Marissa Meyer taking over a year and a half ago, she's really making strides, and I've seen her on a lot of shows. And in fact, I think I remember reading that who they got the gal Katie Couric. She's coming over. They got the columnist from the New York Times too, and so Yahoo is really making strides to be more of a content provider. And you see with those apps I just showed you, they're just absolutely beautiful. I kind of think they're a
mm-hmm.
little more elegant than the Google ones are.
Mm-hmm. And second question, with say like all those TV apps and how you were showing in the beginning of checking to see what's taking up a lot of space, I was kind of going through that today, and it seems like almost every app had a little bit of space that it was, putting stuff up in iCloud.
Yeah.
Is there any way to go and see exactly what it's saving up there so you can know whether or not you really want to delete it from iCloud backup?
Yeah, that's the only downfall to a lot of these apps. If you in the case of my iPhone, I have a 64 gigabytes, so I've got quite a bit of space. My iPad, on the other hand, I only have 32 gigabytes. So if you start downloading a lot of these apps, what's going to happen is they are going to take up a lot of space. So you got to be selective of what you're going to install. You and I are very similar. We love to have all this stuff on our devices, but the problem is you you want to make sure that you aren't taking up all your space too. So use discretion of what apps you put on there and the ones you don't want.
So then most likely it would be better to turn off that feature where it automatically
Right.
adds apps. If you put it on your iPad, then it puts it on the iPhone. It's probably better to turn that off if you
Correct.
don't have, large hard hard drive spaces on those devices.
Correct. So,
Okay.
all right.
All right.
Thank you. All right. Anybody else? I'm gonna drop everybody's hand here. If you got more questions, raise your hand. I'm gonna bring you out here and let you ask a question. Go ahead and type in some question. Type in some questions and being able to see this through. Oh, someone just raised their hand. I'll answer one more question here. Let's see who it was. Okay, Nancy. I'm unmuting you now. You have the
Yes.
floor. Go ahead.
So this is maybe a little off topic, so put me off to the end if you want.
Okay.
But how can you delete books from your Kindle storage?
I think you have to do that actually on. I don't know if you can do it on the iOS app. You might have to do it actually on the web.
Okay.
If I'm understanding correct, if I understand that, I have not seen ways. Let me see. I don't know if I have the Kindle on here. I'll take a look. It's okay. Well, that was one of many great apps that are out there. Here's the Kindle app. See if I'm signed into it. Nope, I'm not. Let me sign in here real quick. We can take a look here for you, Nancy. Ooh, give me a minute here. Because all your books are actually on the cloud. So when you sign into your Kindle app, whether it be on your iPhone or your iPad, they're on the cloud and you can download them at any time. And then they reside right on. So here's a bunch of books that I have here now. Like this book I have on my Nikon camera. See how I tapped it and it started downloading it right away. So these are all.
Right.
If you see at the very bottom there, it says cloud and device. So if you click device, those are the two books that are sitting on my device right now. Now, if I want to delete them, see, I swipe to the left, then yes, I guess you can delete the books right from your device. See how I did that? So I swipe to the left, and then that Hunger Games one, if I click delete, it's going to delete it from my device.
Hmm.
So yes, I guess that answers your question. Yes, you can. And this
There you
applies
go.
to the iPad as well. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Anybody else? We're all clear. All right. So, moving on here, I'm going to talk about a few more of the apps that are out there. If anybody is a music lover, if anybody's familiar with an app called Spotify, see if I have it on here. And probably I don't. See if I have it on my iPad. Spotify is a music service. Allows you to be able to play music streaming, and it creates channels. If anybody's familiar with Pandora, it's the same app that's out there that streams music online. Let me go to the iPad here and bring it back up. And I'll show you. Okay, we'll mirror that. I think everybody should be able to see that. Let's see if Spotify's on here. If not, we're going to have to download it. You know what? I didn't download it because it wasn't free before. Now it is. So let's go out and download this real quick. Give me a minute. There we go. So you have Spotify, you have Pandora, and you also have Google Play. All three of those services, and of course iTunes Radio, we've talked about too. All those services allow you to be able to stream music, and it's for free. Well, Spotify before you weren't able to do that. Now you can. So you are able to stream music, create channels on music that you enjoy. So I must finish downloading here. Nice to be at home and have very fast internet connections compared to at the hotel. I tell you. Hold on a second here. Let's let this finish. All right, we'll open this up. And let me log in. See if I remember my password. No, it's this one. Bear with me. There we go. So now I had some channels created here before. It's also picking up let's say if I want to listen to some rock music, I can tap that and it'll start playing some rock music. So you have a little Led Zeppelin playing here. So the great thing about this now is Spotify. You had to pay for this. This is you don't have to pay for this anymore. It's free. Of course, it is random. You're not going to be able to control what you can listen to, but it's out there. So that's a great new app, a new feature of Spotify. Now, on the other hand, Pandora wanted to show Pandora because they've added a new feature in. I'm bringing this up on the iPhone here. Let me make sure that, of course, you can see it. Bear with me. There we go. So I want you to upgrade, of course. We'll listen to a little bit of Van Morrison. Um, at the very top right here, there's little lines here. You notice here at the very bottom, you now can set this as an alarm clock, so you can actually wake up to Pandora. So right now it's set to 7 a.m. So now when you have your phone next to your bedside, it'll act as an alarm clock. So they added that as a new feature. It's kind of neat. So I thought that was pretty cool. All right, so I see a few more questions have come through. Let's take a look here to see who has their hand raised. Rebecca, you had a question. I'm going to unmute you. Ask away. Rebecca? Looks like are you there? Going once? Rebecca, can you hear us? All right, we'll come back to her. Anybody else have their hand raised? Let's see. Okay, Phil Brooks. And I'm going to let you plug that. I'm going to let you plug that iMovie webinar too, or the workshop too. So go ahead and ask your question.
Okay. When you're using Apple Maps or Google Maps, are you actually using data content while you're running that?
Yes, you are. So the question was, like here's Apple Maps on the iPhone here. It does have to have data connection because it has to be able to sense where you are. So you click the location, see how it's zooming down to to my house here, and to get directions, you actually have to be connected to a data source. So yes, it is going to be using your data plan.
Okay, thank you.
You want to tell us a little bit about the iMovie workshop while I got you?
Well, I'm kind of excited about doing it. It's
Me too.
It's going to be quite useful because I've got some very detailed notes, which I will be handing out as a PDF file. We're going to have about 4 or 5 different hands-on work sessions for the students, so to teach a particular thing or other. So there's a fair amount of hands-on stuff, and there's just so much to learn on this program that
I agree.
It could go on and on. It's really an outstanding new program. I'm very impressed with the new version, and I think everyone else will be too.
Absolutely.
It's easier to use, and you can learn just a little bit and make pretty good movies, or you can learn more and become a much better movie maker. It's all up to you, but that program allows you to work to whatever level you want to work to.
Yes, absolutely. And this workshop is actually going to be, it's 1 week from Saturday. It's on January 18th. We only have a few spots left, so we have been sending out email blasts. I'm going to be sending out a few more. One I think already went out today, if not tomorrow. So I strongly encourage you to sign up. It's an absolute great session, and you're going to love it. And I appreciate Phil you being here, as well as giving us a few minutes of your time to tell us about it.
No problem. Thank you.
Thanks. All right. Do we have more questions here? Let's see. All right, Marcia, I'll let you ask that question. I see that you've written it as well. Go ahead. Marcia?
Oh, my question is for that iMovie. I think he said something about, having files to work with. Are we going to use like AirPay to transfer those files, or do we have to bring a flash drive to?
No, I think we'll have that. We'll have that information. Those files will get to you. I'm sure they'll have thumb drives available, so I wouldn't worry. Just bring your computer. So I think
Okay.
you asked about, is there a way to organize Spotlight search to show apps first?
Right.
I am not seeing that. Good question. So here's of course everybody knows how to get to the search. What you have to do is you take your finger and go to an open spot on the screen and you drag it down, and that brings up the search box. So if you start typing in a word, you're asking what you wanted to change the order to what, to apps first?
Yeah.
Well, let's see. Good question. You can. Let's see if it's under general settings here. Spotlight search. Yes, you can. Take a look at this. So, but actually, no, you're right. The apps. See how I had apps in order? Maybe what I typed. So you can change the order. See how I'm doing it right now? I'm grabbing.
Yeah.
Did you set your Spotlight search on yours like this?
No.
Okay, so there you go. Where I went to
Okay.
that is I went under settings and I went into Spotlight search under general. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks. All right. I think we have another question. This is fun. Who else raised their hand? Wayne. All right, Wayne. You are unmuted. Take it away.
This might be a late response. I think Judy asked a question about how to force the contact sync to let the computer be primary.
Mm-hmm.
My recollection is that if you go into iTunes under the Info tab, that's where you basically sync contacts. And at the very bottom of that window, there's an advanced section where you can check a box that says,
mm-hmm.
Use the information on the computer to update the iOS device. So that would seem to me that that's a way of doing a one-way forced update from the computer to the iOS device. And you can do that for contacts. You can do that for
Sure.
bookmarks. You can do that for a couple of other items. So I wonder if that is a solution for her.
Well, I appreciate you throwing that out. Again, like I said, I don't normally recommend syncing your apps. Sorry, I'm away from the mic here if you are having trouble hearing me. I don't normally recommend syncing apps to iTunes just because it causes a lot of problems. And with this day and age of iCloud, there's really no reason to have to hook this up to your computer ever. So, but I appreciate you giving that tip out. And I'm assuming Judy heard that.
And I appreciate that too. It's just that I use the computer with iTunes. I just haven't gotten into the iCloud mode yet.
Sure. No, yeah, and rightfully so. That's definitely definitely understandable. So, but no, I appreciate you throwing that out. Thanks. All right. All right. Let's check any more questions here. Oh, I'm sorry, Betty. See if he'll bring you up here. Oh, Beverly, I'm sorry. I remembered I talked to you earlier, and I thought that was your hand was there. Go ahead and ask your question.
Dave?
Yep, go ahead.
Okay, I just wondered before you close out, could you show us how to create a folder to put the new apps in that if you downloaded a whole bunch, you just want them in a news folder?
Absolutely. Let me do that right now. I'll do it on the iPad while I got you unmuted here. Um, as you saw, as I was going through, actually, I'll do it on the iPhone because it inundated my apps here. So we got see the iPhone. You can see the iPhone here. We've got all these apps here. So what I want to do is I'm going to tap and hold on to one of the apps, the other wiggle, and then I'm going to bring one of them over and then drag it on top of it. And then see how it created a folder, and you can name that whatever you want. So okay, maybe I want to type this, make this TV networks. And then you go back, you tap away from it, and then you can start dragging in the rest of the icons into that same folder. And the great thing with iOS 7, you no longer have, there are no limits. So this, you could have pages and pages. In fact, I'm going to do this now. I'm going to put every single one of these into one folder. You saw how many icons were on there before. Now I'll have every single one of these in one folder. So we finished the last one here. So now if I go into this folder, see how it's got 2 pages worth of apps now in one folder. Is that what you wanted? Is that what you're asking?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. All right. What we got? Anybody else? All right. And let's move on here. I got a few more apps to go here. We'll do about 15 more minutes here of discussion, and give you a few more apps that I've come across that I thought were pretty nice. One app I was very excited about, and that was free, was an app called iExit. Let me turn off the iPad here, so you're not going. So we're focusing on one. What iExit is it's an app that actually gives you points of interest, and you could search for things. And when you're on an interstate, it actually shows things that are along the way. So of course, what it sees right now is it actually shows me that I'm not on interstate, but I'm in Mount Prospect where I live, and it's showing all these different things that are nearby here. There's a Papa John's and AutoZone's nearby, a Shell station, Aldi. So all these restaurants and gas stations and hotels, motels are all nearby to where I am. Well, you also can search. So if you want to search for specific preset searches, you can go through here as well. But the great thing is when you're on the road and on the interstate, it's actually all these are going to pop up in real time. This is an app called iExit, and it is free. So that's one app I definitely recommend putting on your apps list to download. Another app I wanted to talk about, and I've talked about many times, is Goodreader. Goodreader is a great app that allows you to be able to go through and let's see if I can get the iPad to come back up. Hold on. Allows you to work with your files and photos and all kinds of stuff, and it's much easier to manipulate other than doing a file maintenance here. Hang on one sec. I'm trying to. The iPad is being stubborn. Give me one sec. Almost there. All right, it doesn't like it. Let's try one more time here. Come on, that should work. All right, we'll stick with the iPhone. So Goodreader, they did a complete makeover with it. It looks a lot different. As you see, the folder looks a lot different for those of you who have used this. Done a lot better job of organizing, doing all kinds of stuff. And again, I did spend a lot of time on this before. I'm not sure if we're going to spend too much time on this app again and go through. And as you see, they did do a lot better job as far as it working better with iOS 7. There were some problems with it because it was originally designed for iOS 6. And so that's Goodreader. And I believe it is $4.99. It does cost you have to pay it for the iPhone and for the iPad. It's not universal. But as you see, I've got a lot of PDFs and all kinds of things. Obviously, it's not as great to see on an iPhone versus an iPad, but it is a great app, and I just wanted to make mention that they did do an update on that. Okay, Roberta, you asked a question. I'm looking at questions here. Does the same thing apply to the iPad making a folder? Yes, it does. So what I showed you on the iPhone also applies to the iPad. It works exactly the same way. So just wanted to let you know that. Let's see if I can get this to work again. All right. The iPad does not want to cooperate. Bear with me. All right. I'm going to try to exit out of here real quick. Give me a moment here. It even crashes when you have good internet connection. Let's see if that works again. The iPad's being stubborn. I'm going to do a reset here. Bear with me. And, all right. While we're doing that, I'm going to bring the iPhone back up. Never be easy. There we go. All right, there's the iPhone. Now I did a reboot of the iPad. Let's see if that comes back. Hey, there it is. Always like a reboot. Okay, so there was another app I came across called Duolingo, and I have not looked at it yet, other than I've just downloaded it. And what it is actually it teaches you to learn a language. You learn going through and actually learn how to speak a different language. As you can see, you can go through and track your accounts. Maybe I'll sign with Facebook. It's fine. It's so much easier to sign with Facebook because you don't have to deal with it. So here you have a choice of being able to learn a specific language. So here's Spanish, and goes through my name. Choose a picture, and we'll go create. Create an account. Okay. So I'm not going to go through this detail. Looks like you actually go through skills. It's probably a lot cheaper than buying a Rosetta Stone here, and be able to learn different languages. This is called again. This was called Duolingo. I believe it was like 99 cents. That's a pretty neat app. I see we have a possible question here. Let's see. Somebody raised their hand. Randy, I haven't come to you yet. Let me unmute you here. All right, Randy, you're unmuted. Go ahead and ask your question.
I don't know if you can hear me very well because
yes.
I'm using the iPad app instead of a desktop, web browser and all that.
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, and it won't let me use my headset. I mean, I plug it in and it's still using the built-in.
No,
So anyway,
hear you great.
I just wanted to comment. I have used Duolingo quite a bit.
Oh, good.
So I can tell those who are interested a little bit what it can do.
Please do.
I'm using it to brush up on French. it gives you about 5 or 6 different kinds of skill tests.
Mm-hmm.
It will give you a very short phrase in, let's say, French and ask you to translate it to English. It will do the opposite, give you an English phrase and ask you to translate it in French, or it will give you an English phrase and then you will have some words at the bottom that you can just drag and drop into the proper order to create the phrase. So that's another way. It has a pronunciation test, so it will give you a short thing again in French or whatever language you're doing, and you have to pronounce it, and it will tell you if you pronounced it properly. So it has quite a bit of, and it's free.
Yeah, it is free. That's right.
Yeah, it's free. And you can, when you initially run it, like you're seeing on your screen, you can say test out of these skills, and if you already know the language a little bit, you can go through an initial test. Then it will figure out where in the process you need to continue. So you can test out of a bunch of different lessons.
So here's one here. Let's see if I can do it.
Yeah, so it's kind of interesting.
So you go El Nino. Oh, so you have to actually know what it says. Okay, I see. Again, I saw it as one of the top apps of the year, so it's definitely, for being free, it looked intriguing. It's a great app to be able to give you the opportunity to learn a language and not have to pay.
Yeah, I think people should look at it if they have any interest in a language at all, because it's a good way to brush up on something that you know or learn a new language.
And I see a few people here have said Duolingo is excellent.
Yeah.
Judy asked a question, and actually I got you, Randy. She uses Evernote for note keeping. The updated changed a lot. Do you use Evernote?
I don't. No.
Okay. Let's see. The update changed a lot and isn't as easy to find your previous notes except for a search. If anybody who has used Evernote before, have they had experience? Maybe raise your hands. I'll put you on the mic here, and you can tell Judy what your thoughts are about Evernote. See if anybody's willing to raise their hand. Let's see. Betty, you had another question here. I'm gonna mute you, Randy. Okay. Thanks for your Thanks for your input. Just a minute. And let's see, Betty, you had another question. I'm gonna unmute you here. There you go. You're unmuted. Go ahead and ask your question.
So is the arrow down or the arrow up for having your hand up?
The arrow is up.
Okay. I actually have it down right now.
Oh.
Finally, you answered my question.
Sorry.
Anyway,
I apologize.
I'm trying to sync between my iPad and my iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
And I go to General. And unfortunately, I got tired of waiting and went to Photos and Camera, and I wanted to know the difference between my photo stream and shared photo streams. Just between the iPad and the iPhone.
Sure. Photo streams are actually photo streams that sync between your devices. So any photos that you take, and if you have photo stream on, both the devices will sync between them on the photo stream. Shared photo streams are actually if you actually go in and initiate a share with somebody or many people, and you send the link out, and that folder is established for shared photo streams, and people can go out to the web and actually see them.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome. All right, we got just a few minutes here to wrap it up. I'm gonna open up for any Q&A. If you don't want to, I'm gonna clear our hands here. If you want to ask an audio question, raise your hand. If you want to type a question, type one out. We've got a few minutes here. We've got a lot of people still here. So Betty, you just came on. I'm gonna see if anybody else comes on before you. If not, we're gonna open it up to you. All right, you're the only one, Betty. I'm gonna open you back up here. Hang on. Go ahead and ask any general question. Go ahead, Betty.
No, what I did was just turn the arrow down, and you noticed it.
Oh, okay. So yeah, whenever you click it, it does raise your hand. Okay, thank you. Any questions? Come on, there got to be one. Oh, I just cleared the hand, so if you did raise your hand, raise it again. All right, Marcia, let me open you up here. Go ahead.
I've been noticing that it seems like the backup isn't running even though I've had my iPad or device, plugged in at night and like, it connects to my wireless. It seems like it's not always, backing up, and then I get a prompt after about 3 weeks, saying that it hasn't backed up, in that amount of time. Have you heard any bugs with that?
No, I mean you hit the nail on the head. You do have to make sure that you uh, are on Wi-Fi because that's the only time it'll back up is when it's on Wi-Fi. Maybe it's something that's just not connecting right. Probably what I would recommend doing is, from time to time, and I'll show you here on the iPhone. I go into my Wi-Fi here, and I'm not going to do it because it'll turn me off here, but I click the I information button here next to my Wi-Fi,
Uh-huh.
and then I just say forget this network, and I join it again and put my password in and let it resync. Sometimes it gets hooked up, and that's always a good thing to do from time to time because I see a lot of times because if you've connected to a Wi-Fi network before, it automatically connects every time you come to it next. And I've had instances where it won't actually um, go through and connect properly. So this is one way of clearing it up is by forgetting the network and then just rejoining it again.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to go on to the next person here. Hold on. Who else raised their hand? Okay, Ed. You raise your hand. All right, Ed, you're unmuted. Talk to me.
Yeah, hi Dave. Just curious as to what Good Reader actually reads.
Goodreader will read photos. I finally got the iPad up here. I can show you. um, it does documents. Here it is here. As you see here, I've got a lot of folders that I have here, like books and PDFs. It won't read things like EPUB, things like that. But what it does is it manages your files, so it gives you a place to actually store your files. So if I have a place like here's Word documents, PDF files, these are all there. Um, any books, as you see, these are PDFs. You can store movies on here, and it's just a place to store files, and it's a file manager. It really is in essence what it is.
Okay, I guess I was curious. I thought it might actually read, speak text to you or something like that.
No,
Apparently
I
not.
don't think it'll do that, but it does have it does sync. It does give you a lot of other power features. I'm gonna go in and I might do an actual longer period of actually showing people what good reader's all about because I did
Okay,
that
hey,
once before.
thanks, Dave. I'm going to take my hand down.
Okay, thank you. Uh, got the time for a few more. Anybody left? Let's see. Who did I miss? I see two hands raised. Oh, one. Hold on. All right, we have someone who hasn't talked to us more. Megan. Hello, Megan.
Hello,
Are you a member?
I'm a guest.
You are a guest. Okay. Um, welcome, and go
Thank
ahead and
you.
ask your question.
I had heard someone earlier mention a way to stop apps that you're adding to your iPad from going to your phone or vice versa.
Yep.
And I don't know how to do that. Can you
All
tell
right.
me how?
I'm going to show you. Can you see the iPad on your screen?
Yes.
All right. I believe you got to go into the App Store here. See where it says automatic downloads? If you don't want any of those to turn, you got to go to each device and turn each one of those off.
Okay.
See how I did that?
Yes.
Let me go back and I'll show you. Uh, so I'm in settings and then I just picked, let me go to just another place here. I picked the iTunes and App Store. So you can turn all
Okay.
these off. So tell me, how did you find out about the group?
I'm a guest of one of your board members, Joe.
Oh, Joel. Okay, great. Well, hopefully we get to see you more often. And we got our main meeting coming up on the 18th, or the 11th, excuse me, this Saturday. So if you have time, we'd love to see you. And I
Okay.
appreciate you asking a question.
Thanks.
All right. Let's see who else we got here. A couple more here, and we're gonna call it a night. All right. Our two good question askers. Here's Beverly first. Go ahead, Beverly. Beverly.
Dave,
Yep. Go
when
ahead.
you, Dave,
Yes, I hear you.
when you when you go into your television network programs, do they ask you for your Xfinity password then? And if they do, where do you find your password? Or
You
do you
need
have
to
to
know. Yeah,
create it?
you need, if you don't know what it is, you're gonna have to go to Comcast Xfinity and have them get it for you, because
Oh, okay.
you need, yeah, that's the account
That's
that
what
you
you
use to
have to
sign
use.
into your to manage your account.
Okay, so when you sign in, just to when you open up the app, they ask you for that your browser notification or your license or your, whatever it is.
Right. It automatically authenticates once you put the password in.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Well, we've come towards near the end here. I wanted to launch one more poll here, and I wanted to ask you one question here. Do you like this? Do you like this webinar format for future meetings like this one? Go ahead and answer the question of those of you who are still here. Wow. So far, we got 90% yes, and 15% are just kind of unsure. All right. Let's close the poll, and I'll share the results here with you. So overwhelmingly, a lot of you like this format. So something to think about. We'll be able to get to you in the future here, and maybe we will do more of these. Um, uh, we can answer, we can do a lot of these types of webinars in the future. I think this is the wave of the future. I really enjoyed doing this, and I thought it worked really well for me just managing this myself here. And I'm glad that everybody was able to attend here today. With that, I want to thank you for coming tonight. I did record this session, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to post this out onto YouTube and let everybody be able to watch this session at their leisure. Um, I think we got a lot out of this tonight, and glad everybody was able to stay home in the warmth of their home and not have to go out in these really bad roads that are out there tonight in the cold. And we'll resume the iPhone SIG next month back at the Hyatt, and weather permitting, of course. And with that, I'm going to leave you with all this great stuff that we talked about tonight, and I will send out the link to everybody, as I do have all your emails, and provide you this as well. So I see a lot of great thanks. I'm going to have a survey at the end of the session here. I hope you answer that survey for us and let me know what you thought of the whole session. And I appreciate you being here tonight. And I wish you a great evening, and we'll talk to you next month or at the next main meeting, which is this coming Saturday. Thank you.